I'm glad to be here today and to be able to talk to you a little bit about it. If you have questions afterward and you want to flag me down or call me, you can do that. The treatment services team, in its nucleus, Dr. King is our medical director, and like David said, he prescribes for our opiate-dependent patients. If we didn't have a doctor who supported the program, we would have a very different program. Are you taking a picture? We have opiate treatment specialists, and you see there's a typo there because I decided as a perfectionist that all those letters should be capitalized, and so when I went back I didn't get the little S out. Yes, it's not a specialist. In Genesee County, Barb Bowman is the person who expressed interest in working with this population. And I find Barb to be just delightful to work with. She's a wonderful counselor. In Orleans County, we did have someone who had expressed interest and was doing this as a specialty. That person isn't with us, and so we're kind of at the point of, as they get full staff, looking for someone who has both the interest and the kind of interpersonal style that would allow them to work with this population. It's a tough population. And then I have been an appointed coordinator, and my job is to be able to work within the clinic across disciplines, be able to work between the clinic and outside agencies, medical providers, and to be able to work across Genesee and Orleans County. And Dr. King and I both work in both counties, so that's been very helpful. I'm up there a part of one day, and he's up there one whole day. Now that's the nucleus, but really in reality, all of our staff interact and interface with our opiate-dependent patients, because if they happen to have a primary mental health issue, they may be in the MICA track. They may be in the women's program. They may have somebody they're on drug court, maybe with our liaison to drug court. So we're also helping to support those other staff for whom it's not a specialty, but they are working with our clients. Now, one of the things, David talked about, what's different about opiate treatments? Now, technically we should use the word opioid dependency, but since most people don't understand the word opioid, opioid means anything that comes from that base of opium, where the opiate is kind of more looking at heroin and morphine. So the broader term would be opioid, but they're used sort of interchangeably, and though maybe to be really technically correct, we should say opioid. Most people wouldn't know what you're talking about. Opiate, most people recognize. They sort of know what that means. Let me ask you, how many people here drink coffee every day? Every day you get up, you have some coffee.
Every day?
Yeah.
Not every day.
How about tea or coffee every day? All right. Have you ever all of a sudden stopped drinking your coffee for one reason or another? What happened to you?
Headache.
Headache. How long did it take for the headache developed?
Probably about 3 or 4 hours.
A few hours?
Right away.
Right away?
I want my coffee.
Some people know the next morning they wake up, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me?
You're
I feel
sluggish.
I got a terrible headache, sluggish. What did you want to do when you got the headache?
Drink
drugs.
coffee.
Get some coffee.
Yep.
Right.
What happened when you had the coffee?
Within a few
Headache
minutes,
went
one
away.
drink.
Now, often it doesn't work to take aspirin when you have a caffeine withdrawal headache, because your body does not want aspirin. You can take aspirin, you can take Tylenol, you can take ibuprofen. You're probably still going to have that headache. If you mistake it for a sinus headache, you can take your sinus medicine. You're still going to have that headache, because what your body is saying to you is, hey, you give me that caffeine every day, and you better give me that caffeine today, or I'm going to remind you that I want it. And I'm going to keep reminding you until you give in and you give me the coffee. As soon as I get that caffeine. Now, headache medicines that have caffeine, like Excedrin, that might help, because it's not the coffee your body wants, it's the caffeine. So here's the bad news, folks. You have a dependency to caffeine.
Yeah.
That's a caffeine dependency. And it's with a withdrawal
Do you help us?
Guilty.
You gotta help yourself first. Now, let's say you don't smoke. Have you ever smoked cigarettes? Have you ever tried to quit smoking? Most people will say I had to try more than once. What happens when you try to quit cigarettes?
You get cranky.
Cranky, irritable,
Jittery.
jittery. All right. What?
Headaches?
Headaches. A physiological response, because what's the addicting substance in a cigarette?
Nicotine.
Nicotine. So it's the same idea. A physiological change occurs. Your body doesn't happen with the first cigarette, did it? No. When you began to use cigarettes or caffeine or any of those substances regularly, something happened inside your cells where your body began to expect and need that. And when you take it away, the body is going to let you know very quickly, I want that. And some people, I quit smoking, and it took me 2 or 3 tries, and it was before patches and Chantix and everything else, and it was not fun. So what we're talking about here is the dependency withdrawal cycle, and you can see why people go back to their substances. Now, when we're talking about opiates, there is a lot of shame and blame for people who are opiate dependent. David talked a little bit about the pecking order. A lot of people, if you talk to them, there's a very great disdain for the traditionally addicted opiate dependent person. We used to refer them years ago junkies, those junkies. And so the first hurdle for anybody working with opiate-dependent clients, is, as with any of our clients, is to get out of that judgment cycle. They've got enough judgment. They don't need ours. And any one of us could be in the same situation. So what happens with an opiate-dependent patient, there are a lot of substances that we treat that have addiction, withdrawal, dependency kinds of things. Alcohol can. People who are chronically alcoholic can go through withdrawal, and it's one of the few withdrawals that can be life-threatening. People who are on benzodiazepines for a long time, those old nerve pills, can become dependent on them. Very difficult withdrawal. Methamphetamines, we don't see a lot of that yet out here. I think we're seeing more and more of it, and we're certainly seeing people who, in the Midwest, who became very prevalent, they moved back here. So other things like marijuana and cocaine, people don't have the same kind of withdrawal. Now, an opiate patient, when they very quickly, dependency can develop. It's not like one, sometimes just a very short period of time. People said within a week sometimes they knew they couldn't put it down. They may have tried repeatedly to stop using, either because they wanted to stop using or they didn't have access. They become the flu-like symptoms, ill, nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, jittery, runny nose, diarrhea. It's a thoroughly unpleasant thing. It will not kill you. But you try to tell somebody who's going through it, it's not going to kill you. It's very frightening. It's terrifying to them not to have those substances. It's the caffeine times 100,000. It's much more frightening to them. So for a lot of people, that is one thing that does bring them into treatment, though, because especially if they're finding that, many of our patients come in with denial. I don't have a problem. You people think I have a problem. Everybody drinks a little, Opiate-dependent patients, most of them know, hey, I'm hooked on this stuff and I can't get off it, and I get dope sick. That's the phrase used. I get sick or dope sick. So here's what I like to think that we are doing and that I believe we're doing. And when I talk with our new patients who are just coming into our opiate treatment track, I talk to them about this, that it's a holistic approach. And to me, holistic means body, mind, and spirit.